I would like to call upon Mr. Imdadul Haq Khan. Mr. Khan is presently the Dean of Law, Faculty of Law, Eastern University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. He used to be the chairman of this Department of Law at the same university. He is a rising young lawyer. He has, to his credit, a few good papers published in good journals. May I call Mr. Imdadul Haq to present his paper? Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much,
May
sir.
I request you to make it, please cut down your time. I'm sorry about it. Make the presentation shorter.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, respected session chair and all the audience. Very good evening from Dhaka. Well, I'll be talking about the domestic law of Bangladesh. Basically, though the law is domestic, but the issue is very global, very much global indeed. That is the Prevention and Suppression of Human Trafficking Act 2012. Basically, I have I will be discussing on under the three criteria throughout my sessions. First of all, the basic feature of our law, and then the challenges we face, and then the recommendation what I can offer. First of all, at the very inception, if we see that um, the objective of my research. That is, at the very inception, I'll try to explain the nature and feature of the act, and then, as I mentioned, that I'll be discussing the challenges and some recommendation how we can improve the law and the stakeholders. So, at the very inception, if we see the applicable laws in Bangladesh, the principal law regarding the human trafficking is the Prevention and Suppression of the Human Trafficking Act 2012. To support this principal law, Bangladesh has enacted two ancillary laws. That is the Human Trafficking Prevention Rules of 2017 and the National Anti-Human Trafficking Authority Rules 2017. And after that, though Bangladesh didn't incorporate any other new law, but they have incorporated a fantastic guideline. Along with this guideline, if we supplement the existing law like the Constitution of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the Penal Code 1860, the Evidence Act, the Extradition Act, the Territorial Waters and the Maritime Zones Act, and the Bangladesh Passport Order 1973, the Passport Act 1952, the Money Laundering Prevention Act 2012, we see that basically there are a number of enactment that may complement the human trafficking offenses and the Human Trafficking Act. At the same time, we can see the basic feature of the at the very inception. I'd like to give the definition of human trafficking. Basically, we see the definition is we have taken from the protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish the persons, especially women and children. This definition we have hired from international instrument. At the same time, we also ratifying state of the UNCTAD, the UN Convention Against the Transnational Organized Crime, in 2021. So, if we define the human trafficking, basically, generally in an offense, we see the actus rea and mens rea, but this is a different type of offense. In order to define the human trafficking, we need to prove three things: acts, purpose, and means. The act itself says some examples. Act means selling, maybe buying, maybe recruiting. The purpose includes sexual exploitation or oppression, and the means includes threat, use of force, like this. So if we combine these three steps, acts, purpose, and means, only then we can say that offense of human trafficking has been committed. At the same time, there is an exception in our law, which is also exists in the international instrument as well, that for the children, for the child, that means the use of force element is not required to be fulfilled. This is one exception regarding this offense. If we see the basic feature of the enactment, we'll see some of the fundamental things. First of all, our enactment says about the extraterritorial application of this law. That means wherever the offense is being committed, the law will be, the 2012 enactment will be applicable. If we see the nature of the offenses, they all are cognizable, non-cognizable, and non-compoundable offenses. And under this enactment, we get both type of relief. That means we can claim the compensation under the enactment. At the same time, we also file the criminal cases. If we see the stakeholders, okay, before going to the stakeholder, I can say something more about the enactment, that is the admissibility of the digital evidence. That is very fantastic provision we have incorporated in our 2012 enactment. That means the digital evidence would be admissible. That is described in section 29 and 30 of the enactment itself. Though after 2020 enactment, the Evidence Act also provides the complementary provisions regarding this digital evidence. If we see that these enactment also say about trial in camera, the victim protection. At the same times, it provides that the case has to be filed either in the police stations or before the tribunal. So before going to this, that the tribunal would be constituted would be constituted by the virtue of the session jar or additional session judge. That means only the session jar or the additional session judge can be the judge of this tribunal. So in order to prosecute the crime of human trafficking in Bangladesh, we see three stakeholders. One is the law enforcement agencies. They basically do the investigation, and for the human trafficking, only the PBI and the CID is empowered to do so. It has been described and recently amended by virtue of the PRB. And special public prosecutors are being appointed for this, and the judges, as I say, that only the sessions and additional sessions can be the judges. So far in Bangladesh, only in divisional headquarters, tribunals are being incorporated, but that was not the necessity base, in fact. So, though it is stated in the enactment that in each district there has to be a tribunal. So, if we see that we are lacking short of some sort of tribunals, but hopefully the government will initiate some sort of many tribunals. If we see the challenges of enactment, let's talk about this. First of all, we see that under this enactment, there are 10 offenses from section 6 to 15. These are the offenses. Other than these offenses, the ancillary offenses cannot be tried. If we compare it with the Nari Shishu Nirjatan Domon Ain or other special law, we see that ancillary offenses are being tried in the tribunal. However, in this tribunal, the ancillary offenses, associated offenses cannot be tried. This is huge loopholes of this enactment. For say, if in order to commit human trafficking, somebody commits a murder or rape, the rape or human trafficking cannot be tried before the human trafficking. For this regard, usually and frequently, the human trafficking tribunal reject the cases. But in other special law, like Nari Shishu Nirjatan Domon Ain, we see that that tribunal can try the ancillary offenses as well. So another area is that one of the fundamental human trafficking sectors is trust being committed in at the sea. That is human trafficking by sea. But there is no specific provision, since the issue is very different and dynamic. There is no provision regarding this. We see if we compare it with the drug trafficking, we see that the conviction rate has been gone up around more than 50%, more than 40%. But if we see the human trafficking, the conviction rate is less than 1%. So this is one of the reasons, because the tribunal frequently reject the crime due to the non-identification of the offenses. So here lies the suggestion actually that what can be done for this to improve this enactment. First of all, we need to either get a ruling from the High Court division, or we need to amend the enactment in order to try the ancillary offenses. Secondly, if we want to basically increase the conviction rate, we need to coordinated effort from the prosecutions as well as from the investigation team, because there is a unique provision in the 2017 rules where it is stated that in rules, particularly in rule 10, it is stated that the investigating officer must or has to take the opinion from the prosecutors before giving the charge sheet. So if we see this coordinated effort is being held, then probably the conviction rate will be enhancing. So in this regard, my suggestion is, since the act is new, the phenomenon of the offenses is dynamic, so there need to be training for the investigating officers, there need to be training for the judges as well as for the prosecutors. And in to that end, the United Nations Office on the Drugs and Crimes, they are helping the government to train the important stakeholders. But the thing is that the important loopholes is the transnational nature of this crime. More than 90% of the crimes are being committed across the country, outside the country. So we see that transnational investigation is required in order to try the offenses. But so far, from 2024 to till now, no such effort was been made, because due to the very much difficult and stringent procedures to conduct the in transnational investigation. So these transnational investigation procedures need to be more flexible, and it need to be more acquainted with the investigating officer so that they can give a perfect investigation report. Only then the conviction rate and this heinous offense would be tried before the competent tribunal. So probably I can finish it and repeat it over here. So thank you everyone listening to me, and I would love to give the answers if there is any queries. Thank you everyone.
All right.
Thank you very much for this nice presentation.